Down syndrome, also known as trisomy 21, is a genetic disorder that was identified in 1866 by John Lyndon Down. An individual with Down syndrome has a part of or a whole extra chromosome in the 21st pair, hence the name trisomy 21. During meiosis, one pair may not split or partially split, which will result in 3 chromosomes in the final embryo. People with Down syndrome generally have more almond-shaped eyes, poor muscle tone, only one major fold in their palm, and a protruding tongue due to the small oral cavity. Most individuals with Down syndrome also have mild to moderate cognitive delay, as well as a higher tendency to have congenital heart defects. Through all this, they tend to be very kind and happy people. Trisomy 21 does not qualify as a mutation, dominant, recessive, or sex-linked, but it is a trait that affects approximately 1 in every 100 to 1,000 births, though the chance of having a child with Down syndrome is greatly influenced by the age of the mother.
The key characteristics of the unique function and any special considerations. Flat facial features, with a small nose, upward slant to the eyes. Small skin folds on the inner corner of the eyes. Small, abnormally shaped ears. Hyperflexibility, which is extensive ability to extend the joints. The 5th finger has only 1 flexion furrow instead of 2. Extra space between the big toe and the second toe. An enlarged tongue that tends to stick out. Implications for participation in physical activity and sport. Low muscle mass, low bone mineral density, weak joints. May require assistance for participation. Benefits of physical activity and sport. Gets the individual socializing and included into activity. Good for health and fitness of the individual. Keeps the individual from living sedentary lifestyles and becoming overweight. Empowering these individuals who often feel restricted and to encourage self-efficacy. Safety considerations. Hypotonia and hyperflexibility, which increases the chance of joint dislocation. Recommendations for coaches, teachers, and fitness leaders. Empower the student by giving responsibility. Provide visual demonstration to these students. Allow adequate time for the student to complete the activity or skill. Speak directly to the student with clear language and short sentences. Avoid contact sports, forward rolls, or highly unpredictable sports that involve high speeds, large forces, and weights, or the likelihood of collisions.
Unlike most superheroes,
Jonathan
Stocklosa still lives with his parents.
Come on.
Unlike most superheroes, Jonathan doesn't wake up ready to save the world.
Were you sleeping?
And unlike most superheroes,
Okay.
Jonathan was born with Down syndrome.
You were sleeping.
Nevertheless, as you'll see in a minute, he's still one powerful crusader. By day, 31-year-old Jonathan is a mild-mannered bag boy at the Acme grocery store in Wilmington, Delaware. Caped in a neon yellow vest, he rescues stray grocery carts from the parking lot.
What do you like?
And hands out stickers to the kids.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tender on the inside,
I love kids.
solid rock on the outside.
How'd you get that way?
I don't know.
You don't
Work
know?
out.
Work out a little bit?
Set. Good.
More than a little bit.
It's stable.
And it's here at the gym,
Good.
where Jonathan unleashes his inner Hulk.
Whoa, that was a good one. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's what you do every time you win?
Yes.
John is an incredible power lifter. Not an incredible Special Olympics power lifter. Just an incredible power lifter, period. He competes in regular matches, often placing in the top 3. The guy can bench press over 400 pounds.
You just take it all in and you walk away going, wow. Or did I really just see what I just saw?
Brandon McGovern is Jonathan's trainer.
Chris.
He says he's constantly amazed at Jonathan's drive.
He's a competitor. Nice job, man. He strives to be as good as he can be at whatever he puts himself into.
Now we will take a closer look at the unique function of Stargardt disease.
In Stargardt disease, a defective protein in photoreceptors results in the accumulation of lipofuscin in retinal pigment epithelial or RPE cells as photoreceptors are shed daily. Lipofuscin is composed of material that is very toxic to RPE cells. The RPE cells become engorged with this toxic material and over time begin to shrink and die. Since RPE cells are important for the survival of photoreceptors, when RPE cells are lost, so too are the photoreceptors that lie directly above them, and this leads to blindness.
If you were a patient with Stargardt's disease and you were looking at my face, if we were early in the disease course, my face might appear quite blurry and my features may not be recognizable, whereas the peripheral parts of the retina would be perfectly okay. In later courses of the disease, where you're actually losing a lot of cells in the macular region, my face would be entirely black. Again, peripheral parts of the retina would be fine. In order to see my face, patients would typically look slightly askew so that my face falls on parts of the retina that are not affected by the Stargardt's gene.
The key characteristics. Implications for participation in physical activity and sport. Stargardt disease causes visual impairment, which may cause difficulty coordinating. Eye-hand coordination may not be present. They may require assistance for participation. Benefits of physical activity and sport. To encourage self-efficacy, to socialize and be connected to others. Not live in sedentary lifestyles and avoid becoming overweight, which leads to other diseases. Safety considerations. Hazards may be in the way which individuals may trip over. Be sure to keep the area clear of tripping hazards. Recommendations for coaches, teachers, and fitness leaders. Obtain information on how debilitating the disease of the individual are and what kind of movements and activities they are comfortable with performing. Assist the student with descriptive instructions and directions. Create adapted material equipment. Invite someone who can work with this individual to guide them. Modify the environment and use instructional technique. As a teacher, you may use bright tape that the individuals are able to recognize or see to create boundaries. Provide adequate lighting in the activity venue, since these individuals have difficulty adapting to dim lighting. The upcoming video shows an elite Paralympic runner with Stargardt disease.
Medals in the 100 and 200 meter races, even comparisons to Olympic great Usain Bolt. And the remarkable thing, he's technically blind. Irish sprinter and LDS member Jason Smith has Stargardt disease, a condition that has taken 90% of his vision. But that hasn't stopped him from turning his trials into triumphs.
The greatest moment for me is, them moments you stand at the start, standing behind the blocks, and they go through the athletes and Jason Smith, and then, the whole place just erupts. It's just unbelievable.
And they get away, and Smith got off to a fantastic start, and Smith already has a meter on the field, and he draws away. This is fabulous running. Jason Smith wins the gold. What about the time? A new world record.
When I was a kid, to be honest, the one thing I wanted to do was, let's just call it in America, soccer. I developed my eye condition when I was 8 years old, which roughly gives me, I'm slightly under 10% vision. So as you can imagine, as you get older, vision becomes more important in a game that is, played over a large distance. To be honest, everything's just blurry. For me, I've just learned that's the way it is. You just, you get on with it, you do the best of what you have, and, make the most of it. And, thankfully I've been led down a path where, I've really been able to, I suppose, make the most of my disability. I definitely see my talent as a gift I've been given from Heavenly Father.
He's the fastest Paralympian on the planet.
I actually have never been beaten as a Paralympic athlete.
He won 2 gold medals in Beijing, and then he won the 2 gold medals again in London.
Want to keep beating people, retaining my titles, but I also want to make the Olympics at Rio.
The last unique function that we will take a closer look at will be the unique function of paraplegia.
What is paraplegia? Paraplegia is an injury to the spinal cord that results in motor or sensory impairment below the waist. Hi, I'm attorney Robert Jarchi, and today's topic is paraplegia. Paraplegia generally refers to an injury to the spine below the neck in what is known as the sacral, lumbar, or thoracic regions. The bony structure of the spine surrounds and protects the spinal cord. The spinal cord is a line of communication that connects your brain to your entire body. Messages from your brain are transmitted through the spinal cord, such as telling your legs to walk. But the spinal cord is also a two-way radio of sorts. It not only sends messages, it receives them. So for example, if there's a pain signal, for example from a stubbed toe, that would travel up the spinal cord and go to the brain to tell you there's pain. This line of communication is broken when the spinal cord and the nerve fibers that are inside the spinal cord are injured. What's known as a complete spinal cord injury means that most feeling and motor control below the level of the injury are lost. An incomplete spinal cord injury means that some sensations and motor control may remain below the level of injury. Generally speaking, the lower the injury is on the spine, the lower down on the body there will be motor or sensory impairment, and obviously higher up would be the opposite. Paraplegia itself, the word, generally refers to impairment that is below the waist. Common causes of paraplegia include back injuries from falls, motor vehicle collisions, sports injuries, etc.
Implications for participation in physical activity and sport. Spinal cord injury, paraplegic. Certain surfaces are not accessible or playable. Modification games may be necessary. Use of legs for movement or activity is not possible. Benefits of physical activity and sport. Allows for sufficient physical activity to prevent obesity from a sedentary lifestyle. Builds muscle mass and strength. Improves mood and range of motion. Safety considerations. Surfaces may be slippery or inaccessible by wheelchair. Many people with spinal cord injuries have low blood pressure when they exercise because blood does not return efficiently back up from the legs. People with complete injuries have more trouble with this. Recommendations for coaches, teachers, and fitness leaders. Spinal cord injury, paraplegic. Make sure that the classroom area is easily accessible to not exclude the individuals from participation in class activities. Use modified instructions and equipment for activities. Prevent blood pressure of the individuals from dropping low by wrapping or bandaging legs to provide vascular support, and start exercises slowly and progress gradually to avoid pressure drops. Simulation activities that you could do to promote awareness for individuals in your class. Wheelchair basketball, sit volleyball.
Can't go any longer.
Backflips for breakfast, I guess.